Hi everyone, and welcome to this 6th edition of the VirtueZone Academy Q&A. We're gonna kick off in a minute. We are just waiting for everyone to get on the webinar. So just give us 1 more minute, and we'll kick off. Adam, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yep, still here.
Perfect. Hope your video comes back on. Otherwise, we'll go by voice.
Yep. No problem.
Cool. All right. Well, again, welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning into this 6th edition of the VirtueZone Academy Q&A. Today we have a very special edition on how to build a successful fitness business. We've been joined by a great panel of experts on today's session. We have Adam Hayley, Lloyd Stevens, and Gary Thompson. To give a very quick introduction to each of the panelists, Adam Hayley, he's the founder of Online Trainer Education, which is a company who has helped more than 400 personal trainers double their gym floor income without being trapped in the gym for over 50 hours a week. We have Lloyd Stevens, who is a transformation specialist, well known for working with high-profile individuals from around the world. And we have our very own Gary Thompson, Business Development Manager of VirtueZone. I'll just give each of the panelists a chance to introduce themselves properly. So Adam, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So first off, if you're watching this, my setup doesn't seem to like webinar jam. So apologies if my video flashes on and off. Hopefully the information I can give is useful though, and it will make up for it. So my background I've been in the fitness industry for over 11 years, was a gym floor PT for most of those, and then gradually started building a bit of an online presence. I really enjoyed the travel side of things, being able to go on holidays and so on, work from coffee shops. So I started to build my online business, and then eventually about 4 or 5 years ago, I took the plunge to completely go online. And honestly, it was the best decision that I made. Just for fulfillment, I wouldn't have been able to move to Dubai if it wasn't for my online business. And then selfishly during COVID, while I know that it's hurt a lot of one-to-one PTs, for online coaching, it's actually kind of fast-tracked the industry by like 5 or 10 years. The attention from kind of the gem pop has just been huge. So I've now spent the last 2.5 years helping other coaches move from the gym floor to online. Previously, I would have suggested that you look to do it from a freedom point of view, whereas now it'd be more of a security financially that I just think is a very smart move to make.
Thanks a lot for that, Adam. Lloyd, do you want to give everyone an introduction?
Yeah, so basically my background is I've been in the fitness industry for about 10 years or so. I specialize in working with high-profile clients, and that mainly being celebrities from different places around the world. Lately, for the last few years, I've been working with high-profile clients in India, and basically what I do is I specialize in getting them in shape for movie roles. And so yeah, sometimes that can be 3 to 6 month project basically. Now, because of that, obviously I had a lot of work. I've gained myself a pretty good reputation in the film industry with working with actors and high profile clients. You become a little bit complacent in terms of income. You think that your job is secure because you've got all these projects lined up ahead of time, because that's how they work in the movie industry, basically. So obviously when COVID hit, that cancelled all the plans, all the projects, all the future projects ahead, which left me a little bit stuck. I dabbled in online coaching in the past, as I guess most coaches who've been in the industry for a while. And I think it's become a bit of a habit that people kind of fall back onto online coaching when times are desperate. Do you know what I mean? So basically when things get a bit tough, they think, oh, wow, okay, So I need more income, so I better start looking into the online coaching business. However, this time around, it's been a little bit of an epiphany that, you know, if you're an experienced coach, I think it would be very naive of most to not have an online business going right now. And that's why I realized if it wasn't for online coaching, I would be in a very difficult position right now in terms of income. So I've known Adam actually for 8 years. We used to work together in a very reputable gym company called Ultimate Performance. We've known each other a long time. So basically, I've known Adam long enough that I trust him, and I know if he's producing results, they're actually legit. He's not one of these, how can I put it politely?
Scam artist.
Yeah, one of these guys who's going to say, oh, I can make you a 6-figure business in X amount of time. Adam is very straightforward. He's very blunt, and I know if he says something, it's usually legit. And I think we've got a very similar way of thinking. Is we're very blunt and we're very straightforward with the way we do things. So I approached Adam because, you know, I had to put my ego to the side, thinking that, look, I know all about business, I know about this, I know about that. Actually, when it comes to online coaching, it's a whole different ballgame. It's very different to one-to-one, because obviously now you're putting all the accountability to the client to trust them to do what you want them to do. But it's not just that, it's about how you attain more clients, you know, through social media, through email, I don't know what the word is, encatchment. So that's why I decided, look, I'm going to approach Adam and basically sign up to his course, really. And to be honest, it's been a big game changer, because I thought I knew how to post on social media and things like that. But there's just been like very small, subtle changes to the way I post and the way I engage people in social media. And that's how basically it's been a huge game changer for me, really. So sorry, I know I've gone off on a tangent about myself.
No worries.
Yeah, so basically I'm an online transformation specialist, but I also coach one-to-one clients. I've got a few clients here in Dubai, but most of my income comes through online when I'm not working with celebrity clients. As and when that will resume, nobody knows, basically.
Exactly. Thanks so much for that, Lloyd, and we will, dive much more into that, like basically all the points you mentioned a little bit later. But just before we kick off, Gary, could you give us a quick introduction to yourself as well?
Yeah, good evening all. I'm a company formation consultant at VirtuZone. I specialise in setting up companies across all industries. My aim is to set up the correct company structure for your particular business, for your particular business idea that can grow with you, with your business. I have a particular, although you can't tell, I have a particular interest in the fitness industry, and we've created products that are specifically catered for gym floor personal trainers, and also products that are particularly catered for online only personal trainers. And there's a distinction that we'll talk about later for that. But I deal with company formation. My background is a legal background, so I have an interest in the legalities and the complexities of the different options that are available in the UAE, because there's over 60 jurisdictions, so there's 60 different legal entities where you can set up your company, and sometimes it's a bit of a minefield. So you need to get reliable advice at the outset as part of setting up your business so that you make the right choice.
Thank you, Gary. My name is Christian Petersen. I'm head of marketing at VirtuZone, and I will be your moderator tonight. And I would like to thank everyone for submitting lots of questions in advance. We have lots of exciting topics to go through around how legally to set up as a fitness professional in the UAE, how to grow your business, how to use social media to grow your clientele, and lots of other interesting topics. Even though we have received all these questions in advance, I also recommend everyone on the webinar tonight that if you have any questions that come to mind, feel free to post them in the chatter. I can see Nina has already utilized the chatter. So Nina, if you have any questions, feel free to post them there. If anyone else have any questions, feel free to post them there as well. So without further ado, let's kick off. Adam, before we get into all the questions, I think it would be, you're a specialist in taking a fitness, let's say fitness businesses online, away from the gym floor, or at least supplementing it. So I think a lot of the participants on the call today would like to know sort of overall, what's the process you go through with a client in order to achieve that.
Yeah, just to confirm, we're talking the process the trainer on here would run their client through, as in if you're sat watching this, how would they know how to run online coaching? Is that?
No, basically, so you and your clients, how would you help someone, get off the gym floor, or at least reduce the hours on the gym floor, and sort of, help take their business online?
Sure. Yeah. So basically, I work with coaches one-on-one, and they jump into my mentorship, and I work through this model that I call prime sell scale, which is where we first get clear on your social media account, who it is that you want to target, what sort of message they're going to respond to, how do we create content that sells, and so on. Then we move into the selling phase, which is where I teach you how to run sales calls efficiently, get people out from your DM inboxes and onto sales calls. If somebody ghosts you, how to re-engage them. So we refine how you sell. And then finally, we come over to the scale phase, which is what do we do to take you from sort of £2,000 to £3,000 a month, which in dirhams, I've only moved to 8 weeks ago, I think is about 10,000 dirhams. How do we then scale that up to, the best anybody has done so far is with 2,000 followers, and he did £18,500 last month. So I'm rubbish with the conversion in my head. But basically that's the role is, so if you're a PT that's understands the importance of the online thing, it's my job to help break it down, teach you how to deliver it as well. And please just ignore it if my video keeps cutting out. It's really frustrating for me too. But hopefully you can still hear me. So yeah, we get really clear on how you deliver it at a high level, how you get clients great results online while still enjoying the service. There's a middle ground. Most people became a personal trainer because they don't want a 9-to-5 office job. So it's on me to help you deliver it in a way that you actually get fulfillment from. So it's teach you how to deliver it, teach you how to market yourself, to get your head around selling and that it's not a bad thing, and then give you more freedom. And in this current situation, let's hope it buggers off quickly, how to just protect yourself financially.
And Adam, so typically when you work with your clients, and let's say if they are, when they come to you, they're spending 100%. So Gemma, she actually did the conversion, £18,500. That's 88,000 dirhams. So that's a very impressive monthly income. But sorry, just to get back to my question again, Adam. So when a client comes to you and says, look, I'm spending more than 50 hours on the gym floor at the moment. I would like to sort of diversify my business more, take it more online. What sort of, I guess, the split you end up with between gym floor work and online business? Would it end up being 50-50 online, offline? Would it go 100% online? What have you sort of seen so far?
Yeah, so the best way that I would recommend you do it is to just carve out maybe 90 minutes once a week somewhere in your schedule and put some content together. So that's allocated to content. And then it will be, I genuinely think you could do your first 10 to 15 clients with less than an hour's work once a week. Your check-ins, when you get good at it, should take 4 to 7 minutes once a client's fully set up. So we get you to your first 10 clients or so, and you wouldn't need to remove any gym floor hours at that. The next step is, of course, we would gradually build your income and your client load and increase how much you charge. And then at the same time, start making sensible reductions from the gym floor. So, would it make my life easier if every PT that decided they wanted to go online could just jack it in and just go straight into the online? Of course. Yep. But there are bills to pay. And I'm aware of that. So we gradually sort of step it in increments. So for myself, what I tended to do was Tuesday and Thursday evenings. So when I worked with Lloyd back in London, we were doing sort of 60, 70, 80 hour weeks. It was ridiculous. I was up at 4:30 in the morning on a train into London, train clients all day, back at 10 o'clock at night. So what I first did to buy my time back was Tuesdays and Thursdays, I just didn't train any clients past 2 p.m. And then I would do my online work in that space. And then as I got a bit busier, I then decided that Monday to Friday, I wouldn't train clients past 2 p.m. So at each income goal I hit with the online, I could then start buying back my hours from the gym floor. That would be how I would go about it. And then eventually you'll hit a point where it matches and you can then completely kill the one-to-one and scale it.
Okay. I think that's very valuable info for everyone here today. Lloyd, I would also like to sort of dive a little bit more into some of the things you talked about in your introduction. You know, how your business has changed so much during COVID. Maybe gone pretty much completely online or at least close. Could you sort of take us a little bit through that journey? How did you go from where you were sort of pre-COVID to where you are now?
Yeah, so pre-COVID, I was actually based out in India working on projects with clients on movie projects. I was on, you could say, maybe a 2-year contract where I did 3 different movies, basically. So one client was prepping for 2 different movies, and he had to be in 2 completely different types of shapes. One he had to be quite lean, and then the other one he had to be quite bulky and big for. And then I trained another client in Mumbai by the name of Ranveer Singh, who's quite popular in India, and he needs to put on weight for his particular movie. So what happens with those clients is that they tend to plan ahead. So they will tell you that they are prepping for a role or a certain movie is coming out. So therefore, they'll try and book you in advance for certain projects. So as far as I was aware at the time, that I had at least another couple of years lined up, because it can take several months to make a movie, obviously, and they have to allow for time for the actor to get in the required shape. So because of that, you feel secure that you've got work lined up for the next couple of years. You kind of take your foot off the gas completely when it comes to the online side of things. You're like, it's too much hassle. I'm doing all right. So why do I really need to waste my time doing online stuff, So obviously because of that, I was lucky because I was relocating to Dubai anyways. I was going to use Dubai as my base. I used to be based in London. And it was just a hassle to fly all the way from London to India all the time, whereas I could be based in Dubai and fly to India, which is only a 3-hour flight. And it just made more sense. So basically, obviously I was here, I moved here in December. I was only going to take like 6 months off before going back again. But then obviously COVID hit around March time. And then it basically scrapped all plans that I had for the next 2 years. All the movies had been shelved. So I had no idea how I was going to take my business forward, because obviously from having a very secure future in terms of income to literally zero, or just very unpredictable when it's going to come back to life again. So the only way forward from that would be in my opinion, was to then look back into online, because I had been dabbling in online, like I said, for several years, but I'd never taken it seriously. So I used to get clients. I used to just kind of take clients on as and when they approached me and decide whether I think they would be worth taking on, if they were going to take it seriously or not, because it can take up some of your time. But if you're organized, it actually doesn't take much time at all to get set up properly. So that's when I decided, look, I'm going to put everything I can into the online business. So I've got 2 platforms running at the moment. I've got one-to-one online client coaching, which is where clients have access to me, and they've got my WhatsApp. They can WhatsApp me. We have Zoom calls. It's just very interactive. And then I've got a subscription site where a client can sign up for as little as $30 or $75 for 3 months, but they will still get a nutrition plan and a workout plan. So it's more suited for people that are on a budget and need direction, or for people that just want a decent nutrition plan. It's still customized to them, but it's only updated once a month, basically, same as the workout. So that is aimed more towards the mass market, and even that was affected when COVID came into the situation, because with all the unpredictability, people didn't want to go to the gym. They weren't sure about signing up to certain things. So it was all kind of like everybody's like not sure what's going on. However, what I found was that COVID actually, I thought that was it. That's the end of everything. But it wasn't, because obviously people were now taking an actual interest in their health. So hence the reason people were looking more into, right, okay, what am I going to do about this? I'm going to work from home. I'm going to try and make myself as healthy as possible, because obviously the stronger your immune system, the more comfortable you're going to feel and less to worry about in terms of if you did end up getting COVID, you know? So that's why I then decided online was the way to go, and I needed help to do that. You know, I think every person out there, doesn't matter how much experience they've had, needs a mentor or a coaching, a business coach somehow to teach them in which direction to go. Because, you know, even though sometimes I mean, I think if a lot of the people on here have been successful at something, you still kind of need that second eye or that second opinion to kind of let you know which direction to go in. So ever since I've started the online business, it's gone really, really well, to a point where I thought, okay, this is actually where I want to focus my business now. Because like Adam says, it gives you the flexibility of managing your own hours and work from wherever you like. Basically. But not only that, if you still want to do one-to-one clients, you can actually dictate how many clients you want to have on the gym floor at that particular time. You don't have to do your 8 to 12 hours a day and long gym floor hours. Don't get me wrong. I think sometimes you definitely need that experience. If you haven't done it, you need to get gym floor experience, because obviously you need to know what the client's going through on the gym floor. So that's basically how it's changed everything for me. So from going from having a very secure line, a couple of years of contracts lined up, to literally nothing.
Yeah.
If I had my online business running, I probably would have had nothing to worry about. So my advice to everybody who's listening on here, definitely get yourself set up in an online business if you can.
And I think that's really, really important. It's a good example, Lloyd, of business diversification. Like, so many people think it's a PT, you have to be in the gym, but COVID has changed that, and it's changed the perception. And also, a good point about it is that 7 p.m. in Dubai, for example, every day might be your prime slot. So in Dubai, you're traveling to the gym, you're seeing a client, you're leaving the gym, unless you've got multiple clients together. But with your business model, you can maybe have 5, 6, 7 clients within that key period. Yeah. And you've also got that prime time slot in the UK. You've got that prime time slot in other countries. So you can get key clients all across the world. You can diversify, and you can be doing it from home. So your 1 key hour a day or 2 key hours a day becomes 4, 5, 6. And I think that's what's really interesting about it.
Just exactly like you said. You're not. What I like about online coaching is, I think I've got clients based in about 8 different countries around the world. So you're not just limited, because obviously if you're in Dubai or you're in Abu Dhabi, wherever it may be, you are literally limited to that city. And if not, I could go even further. You could say some are limited to downtown, some are limited to Jumeirah, some are limited to JVC, for example. So it becomes quite restrictive in terms of if you're doing one-to-one. And even if you've got a car and you can travel around, you think about how many hours you're going to be wasting driving from gym to gym, trying to cater for certain clients. Look, if you've got a good amount of clients at one particular gym, then it might be worth it. But if you've only got one client and you're driving half an hour there and half an hour back, you've literally wasted one whole session driving there for that one client. So whereas you could be inputting that time towards creating content for your social media, and contributing it basically towards building a better online business.
Exactly. Okay, well, I think this was a very good start, a very thorough introduction and explanation on all these topics. And I think let's start diving into the questions from the participants today, because we have quite a few that I hope we can get through. And I've seen that Rupert and Anna has already commented in the chatter as well. So this is just a reminder to everyone that please, please post your questions on the chatter as well if you didn't do it in advance. But so the first question for tonight is from Agnes, who is who's saying that I'm not active on social media. What is the best way to start as a personal trainer? How shall I promote my services? What content shall I post? And Adam, would you sort of give your input on that?
Can you just repeat that last bit, please?
Yeah. Agnes was asking, so the last part of it was, how shall I promote my services? What content shall I post?
Okay, so when it comes to content production, I think like a mistake that I see a lot of trainers make is they just feel they have to post loads of information. And when you do that, you'll be able to post content for like 14 days and then you'll run out of ideas. So the thing that I run through with people is I call it the 3+1. So it's really, really important that you get super clear on who it is that you want to work with, which sounds really simplistic. But when you come from a gym floor background, usually you'll cater to everybody. So, on the gym floor, for example, most clients don't want to travel more than 15 to 20 minutes to get to the local gym. There's maybe 10 to 12 gym floor trainers, and then they'll pick the one that just seems the most approachable. That's usually how it goes on the gym floor. So you'll work with, male, female, young, old, and so on. Whereas online, you've got the ability to reach out to thousands of people, which also means conversely, the clients have the option to work with tens of thousands of trainers instead of just the 5 to 10 at their local gym. So it's really important that you get super clear on who it is that you want to coach with. It's going to give you massive fulfillment. And then you get really, really clear on what issues they've got. And this is where what I call the 3+1 comes in. So for me, whenever I'm working with somebody, we'll get really clear on the 3 biggest struggles that their clients have. So it might be that they are like overwhelmed at the amount of conflicting information out there. It might be that they, nail their stuff Monday to Friday, and then the weekend comes and they completely go off the rails. So whatever it is, you would get really clear on the 3 biggest reasons that you think your clients aren't getting results. Then the one is something that you're against. So something that you see other coaches do that you really, really disagree with. So it might be, the coaches out there that put their clients on chicken, rice, and broccoli 6 times a day. That might be your thing that you're against. So when you have these core elements nailed down, your content then becomes more about storytelling. And then you don't have to worry about trying to put out like tens of, hundreds of pieces of content. You can now just focus on the core issues that are going to resonate. And you can deliver it one time in a video. You can do it in written format. You can do it through a client testimonial, talk through your story, your client's story. It's much more powerful. So I don't know if that helps or not, but that's how I reframed it when I used to really struggle with content production. Is it no longer came about just trying to post loads of information. It was more getting really clear on who I wanted to work with, why weren't they getting a result, and then, what experiences have I helped other clients overcome? And when I managed to do that, not only does content production become much easier, but instead of just getting the odd like here and there, you actually start selling because you start firing people up. So there's a difference between content that's aimed at engagement and gets likes and that sort of stuff, and what I consider to be vanity metrics, and then content out there that sells. So I've worked with people, like one guy that comes to mind, for example, had 126,000 followers and didn't have any online clients. And I kept working with him saying, hey, you need to post content in this way. You need to change it. He never did. And he ended up in the same position. Then you've got the guy that I mentioned a minute ago that only has 2,000 followers, yet he's doing that money. And then I've worked with another girl who has 238,000 followers. When I started working with her in February, she had like 4 clients in her business. Now she's fully booked. She's got a coach working under her. She's selling out an 8-week program. And the change isn't the amount of followers. It's how she's written her content, that she now writes it in a way that triggers an emotion. So something that and I'll just drop it into the chat, like something that I would recommend you do on at least 2 of your posts per week is problem, and then solution, and then a call to action. So hopefully that's come out on there. So whenever you're trying to sell, if you've got like a client transformation or a great result, instead of just putting like, hey, shout out to my client so-and-so, they crushed it, can't wait to see what they do next, that will get double taps. But if you can go in there and go, prior to working with me, my client Sarah really struggled with this. This is her biggest bottleneck. This is why she wasn't getting a result. So I've come in and, did this, did X, Y, Z. Since then, she's now getting the results you can see above, and she's crushed it. So if you're struggling with this, why don't you drop me a DM with the word results, coaching, whatever, and let me take the thinking out of it for you. So basically, for anyone watching this, if you're struggling online, just copy that little thing in the chat and do that 2 times a week.
And Adam, Rupert asked a relevant question. I think you've largely covered it, but what he asked is, how do you market yourself? Is it just content, or is there other methods? Is your method all through social media? Do you pay for adverts? What other methods do you use to actually market yourself and build the following?
Yeah, that's a really good one. So for me, everything that I've done with the OTE coaches and myself up until 2 months ago was all organic, just using socials. So like for those that have watched Gary V, for example, Gary Vaynerchuk, super smart guy, very motivational. But one thing I just completely disagree with is where he's like, you need to be on LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, email, blah, 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 blah. I think it's really important to pick one thing and dominate that. So with Instagram being such a visual platform, I think it's the perfect place to dominate 90% of your efforts. And then as you start to gain traction and momentum, then the second way that I would market would be through email. In terms of the paid media, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, that sort of stuff, my opinion is that only works when you've got a foundation built, you've got a product or a service that you know inside out that you can sell and is doing really well organically, and then you just use the paid media to add more eyes to it. So I see a lot of people go straight into Facebook ads as like a quick fix, and it's a money pit. It used to be 4 or 5 years ago, the returns were great, but it's really, really hard now. So I did everything organically until about 2.5 months ago, where I finally hired an agency to run all my ad work. And the only reason I'm doing it is to get more eyes. I'm not doing it to try and like magically try and sell more of this product. And I think that's a really big mistake that a lot of trainers make. A rough tip that I would give here is what I say to the coaches that I work with is, unless you are turning over, this is as a trainer, if you're turning over, there's other, circumstances where maybe paid ads would work earlier. But I think as a coach, until you're earning somewhere between probably £8,000 to £10,000, I'm guessing about 50,000 dirhams per month, I personally wouldn't do it. And to try and run them yourself is a complete minefield. Like, they just confuse the hell out of me, which is why I pay a team to run them for me, because they know which ads are going to get banned, which words you can use, can't use, which images do well, they work and get the cost per acquisition lower. So if any of you are watching this and you're starting out, I personally would rather you play the long game with the organic stuff. The other catch with the paid media is that it will work all the time that you're throwing money at it, assume you get it right. As soon as you switch the ad spend off, your leads drop. Whereas organic works in the opposite. So organic takes a while to kick off. It will be slow. Then you'll get a little bit of interest, and then it snowballs. So when I moved to Dubai, which was August, I said to my other half, I'm going to take 5 days off of posting, and I'm going to celebrate and enjoy the move here. I've wanted to move here for years, thanks to Gary. I finally made it happen. So I wanted to enjoy it. But I had some issues with my UK bank accounts kept getting frozen every other week. I just was really unrealistic myself with how long it would take to get to an apartment and so on. So I ended up taking the month off of posting on Instagram, which I had never done before. And I said to my other half, probably going to have a dip in business. And I actually matched the previous 3 months' numbers. The reason I'm saying this is because That shows how powerful organic is when you're patient with it and you put in the groundwork. The problem is most people give up when you're doing that like middle ground. It's kind of like everyone on here being in the fitness space. If you think of like a transformation, your clients start it, they're really, really excited. They get that initial big drop on the scale, super motivated. And then we know there's this like middle ground that just gets, I was about to swear, it gets very boring and repetitive, and they don't see great progress. And this is where most people drop off. But we know that if they push through it, they come out the other side. That's when they start seeing changes every day. They start seeing a new muscle. Business is the same when it comes to organic growth. Is it will go really, really slow. And then if you push through it, it really does gain so much momentum and snowball.
Lloyd, I would like to hear a little bit more about your content as well. But before we get there, just want to give you a compliment from Gemma. She posted in the chatter. I don't know if you saw it, but Lloyd is reminding me of a movie star. There's
right.
something Hugh Jackman
Probably
about.
the accent, probably.
Thank you for sharing your experience, Lloyd.
Right. Thank you very much, Gemma.
I hope that saved
Well,
you.
I don't know, really. Hugh Jackman.
I usually get James Corden.
I could see that. Do some karaoke, carpool karaoke.
But I just get to my question. So in terms of content, Lloyd, what have you sort of, I guess, like on Instagram, you have more than 50,000 followers. What have you sort of done to grow that following, and what have you seen worked and perhaps what didn't work?
Okay, so it's a difficult one, and what I've definitely noticed is the quality of the content that you produce definitely makes a difference. So I think what happens is a lot of us tend to get caught up in focusing on how many likes you're going to get per post. So this is what people tend to do. They're like, oh, this post only got 100 likes, and this post that I posted got 1,000 likes. Now, most of the posts that I will actually make will be, say, for instance, some nutritional information that I'm giving out, or like, for instance, something that Adam's mentioned about, like a problem and a solution. For example, those are the posts that I end up generating more business with, but yet they seem to get less engagement from a visual point of view on the surface. So you'll get people, not liking it, but if you go back and look into your insights, you'll find that there's a lot of people saving that and sharing it. Okay, so I can post a picture of myself from a photo shoot or sitting on the beach with abs and looking ripped or whatever it may be. And yes, sure, it'll get over 1,000 likes, and it's great for your ego and everything, and so on and so forth. However, if you take a look at the background of it, you'll see that only maybe 1 or 2 people have shared it, or 1 or 2 people have saved it, which tells me that there is no actual value there. It's just eye candy, basically. And people will automatically like it because it's aesthetically pleasing. However, then you post something like an infographic showing how to, the difference in the macronutrients or calorie intake, or just something sort of health and fitness based. Maybe 200-300 people will like it, but then the one post I did where I just thought, but then you look at the insights and over 500 people have shared and saved it, which means that is actually providing value to the client, because you're also, proving to clients that you know what you're talking about. I think what happens as from a personal training point of view, for what used to happen with me is I used to hold myself back, worrying what people will think, and not just normal clients, but I'm more worried about what other people in the industry are going to think of this post, rather than actually knowing that it's going to provide value for potential clients. So I think the important thing is to keep it basic, because not a lot of people know about basic nutritional information, basic exercise strategies, and so on and so forth. But ever since I've changed the way I've posted, in terms of providing actual value, I definitely do get more leads in terms of people inquiring about online training, and so on and so forth. I think every PT has got kind of a niche, basically on what they kind of specialize in. So obviously you get ladies that will specialize in postnatal, you get some will specialize in bodybuilding preparation or competitions and stuff like that. So I think obviously you've got to provide content that you think is going to be valuable to your particular audience. Not what you think is good, what they actually want. You know, I think that's the frame of mind we've got to put ourselves in, because I think, subconsciously we go, oh, this would be good, they'll love that. And then find that actually they don't even know what you're talking about, because you've gone maybe a little bit too complicated. And I think that's what PTs do. They try and prove themselves by going a little bit too complicated. But in my opinion, it just like what Adam just expanded on with that one client who's got over 100,000 followers, it may be, people tend to post more selfies and pictures of themselves than actually producing any valuable information, which misses the whole point. You know, you're a personal trainer, so you need to decide, are you a fitness model or are you a personal trainer? You know what I mean? So that's what you need to decide. I don't see any harm in posting a little bit of both. I do it because I've worked really hard to get into the shape where I've got to. But not only that, it shows people what they can achieve eventually if they put their mind to it. So I think it's just about, if you get yourself a good business coach, they will tell you what type of information you should be putting out.
So I guess it comes down to really value, and then
exactly
view of your clients.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next question. I'm cautious that time is running. We have a really good conversation going on here. Gary, the next one is for you, and here we're going into sort of more bit on the licensing side, because we've got quite a few questions on licensing. You know, how really to set up, all with different angles. But could you sort of say a bit more overall, if you want to start working as a personal trainer or fitness professional in Dubai, what's required in terms of licensing? What do you need to look out for when you're starting out?
Okay, well, Lloyd and Adam are good examples of the different types of businesses that you can have in the UAE. Lloyd, for example, does some in-person training, and obviously he's working more towards bringing that online. So for Lloyd would need a mainland company because he's providing a physical service to clients. And that's the distinction. If you have a free zone company, you're only allowed to work within that free zone or provide your services remotely. So Adam, for example, can have a free zone company. He can provide these online sessions, and he doesn't need to have a mainland company because there's no physical one-on-one sessions. And that's the real distinction in the UAE. So depending on your business model and depending on what you plan to do, we can help you set up. And there's a few other questions that I've seen. So because this conversation is so flowing and so good, I'll just cover generally some more setup questions, and then I'll let you go back to the guys you really want to hear from. There's another question from Suresh. Suresh asked if he wants to sell fitness food products from a JAFSA company, can he do that directly to a customer? The answer to that is no. If it's a personal customer, he needs to use a distributor. JAFSA is a very, very good example of what a free zone actually is. JAFSA is a gated free zone. So it's a geographical area within Dubai that has a gate all the way around the free zone. Inside JAFSA, your company is treated as a foreign company. So if you import products, you can keep them there without paying duty. But if you want to bring the products into the mainland, then you have to pay duty, and you have to import them from the JAFSA company, which is a foreign company, into the mainland company. So that's a very good example of a free zone and how a free zone works. Whereas mainland, if you want to provide physical services, if you want to be in the gym floor, if you want to be at people's homes, then you need to have that mainland company. And that's the sort of split on the legalities.
Thank you. And maybe it's worth mentioning, do you want to talk a little bit about the VirtuFit product that we launched last year as well, and sort of how that has helped a lot of personal trainers here?
Yeah, exactly. So VirtuFit was launched, unfortunately, at the wrong time, but it was launched just over a year ago. And it was about legalising personal trainers who didn't have the correct licence. Unfortunately for the industry, there's lots of people who offer personal training sessions and they don't have a visa, or they offer personal trainers sessions and they're on a dependent visa, but they don't have a licence to work. Nina asked about licensing. If you're working in the UAE, you need to have a trade licence and you need to have a visa. Whether you're offering that service online or whether you're offering that services in person, you need to have a licence and you need to have a visa. So VirtuFit is a monthly plan. It was 2,950 per month, and that covered everything that you needed. At the moment, we can discount that further. So if you're interested in setting up the business, once you have the business model in place, then feel free to reach out to us. I'll share my details in the chat and we can have any detailed discussion about your personal circumstances offline.
Thanks, Gary. And I've also put a link in the chatter at the very top to the VirtuFit page on our website. So feel free to go there afterwards and look for more information. And by the way, as well, both Lloyd and Adam are on Instagram. So for Lloyd, I'll post both of their handles in the chatter. But Lloyd, he goes under Lloyd Stevens PT on Instagram, and Adam Hayley is Adam Hayley 1. So I encourage you to go and follow both of them. They have excellent content, and I think you can learn a lot if you are interested in working as a fitness professional, either online or offline. I also saw Alfredo has just joined the conversation and asking if there will be a recording posted of this session, and yes, there will be. So please subscribe to the VirtuZone YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search for VirtuZone. Then it will be uploaded there in one of the coming days. So I think let's go on with the questions. I'll try to find a good one here. Lloyd, this one is for you, and it's something we just briefly touched upon before going live today. But Casper is asking, he's basically saying, I would like to work with celebrity clients to get good exposure for my PT business. How did you start working with celebrities?
Well, like I mentioned to you before, right? It is an element of luck being at the right place at the right time. However, the only reason I got my big break from working with one client, and it was at the beginning of his career before he became really famous, basically. So the only reason I was introduced to him in the first place was because I was shown to be very, very passionate in what I did. I just lived and breathed fitness, and I was just hungry to learn more. I had just gone through my own transformation, which I actually just posted on my page today. And all I wanted to do was just help people realize, because I was one of these guys that went in the gym with a men's fitness magazine and used to tear out the workouts, and try and follow those, but I never used to get anywhere. I tried looking up diets on the internet, but as we all know, there's just so many out there. So eventually I contacted a guy, did a transformation through him. I don't want to go on too long with it, but basically I ended up doing my PT qualification. I did a couple of years on the gym floor, and then I was introduced to a client in India who was looking for a passionate personal trainer who could help him. So I flew over to India, worked with this client. We were given 12 weeks, but thankfully, because we were both hungry for results, we both had something to prove. We managed to get him in shape within at least 6 weeks, in amazing shape. So this was like his big break, and he got into absolutely amazing shape for that. The movie was called Ram Leela. He got into amazing shape, and then one thing just led to another. After that, it was just like a snowball effect. People came to know that I was working with him. It was all over the media, all over the newspapers, and my reputation just grew from there. But ever since I worked with Ranveer, he has called me back for pretty much every movie that he had to show his physique in. And obviously because of that, and obviously because of his fame, then obviously my popularity grew amongst the industry, and I started working with other celebrities within that circle too. However, like I mentioned to you before, working with a celebrity doesn't necessarily equate to success or good exposure, because some of these clients will demand that there's a confidentiality clause. Some of them will expect you to do it for free. And some of them will end up with no results, which means you're actually not going to end up with any exposure at all because you've got nothing to show off. On top of that, it's not a very glamorous lifestyle. It's very time consuming. It can be a very lonely and solitary life because you are working with this client all the time. So you're expected to travel with him wherever he goes, wherever he's staying, and so on and so forth. So you've got to be flexible with timings, be able to change things on the fly. You've just got to be very resourceful, basically. So it's not all glamorous as people think it is. And like I was saying to you before, I know Will Smith's trainer. Nobody actually is really aware of who he is. Other very popular actors like Mark Wahlberg, who's well known for being into fitness and bodybuilding. Not many people know about his trainer too. Every now and then you might see a paperclip, a newspaper clipping or a social media ad about his trainer. But the truth is, you don't get massive exposure from it unless the client actively wants to help you. But sometimes they're actually bound by agency rules or production rules. So honestly, how do you get to work with celebrity clients? It's about having the right opportunity and at the right time. But in the meantime, you've just got to be passionate about what you do, and just put the work in and try and network with as many people as you can, because obviously it also comes down to who you know.
Of course. So passion is a good place to start.
Exactly.
I guess for many businesses. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because, there's a lot on the line. If you've got to get an actor in shape or an actress in shape for a movie, it's not a case of, can you do it? There's no question. It has to be done because that person is going to be on screen in front of millions of people. Fans are going to criticize and so on and so forth. So you can't get it wrong. You have to know what you're doing and be confident with it.
That's a very good point. Before we get to the next question, I'm just going to start a poll now. You will all see it in the chatter in a minute. Let us know, are you currently working as a fitness professional? There are 4 different options. Please go and submit your answer, everyone. See the first ones are already coming in. Adam, I have the next question for you. It's Hashem who would like to expand his network of clients beyond the UAE. So I assume he has sort of some level of client base here already, but how can he take that sort of more international, in your opinion?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things you can do is use the location settings and stuff in Instagram. So for example, when I was still online coaching, before I did the whole business thing, I would pick up clients from other gyms across the UK simply from going on to, if you go onto Instagram and go to the search, let me just do my own in front of me. If you go to the little magnifying glass, and then instead of top, if you go to places, you can search for various things. So you could search for other gyms in different countries outside of the UAE, for example, and go and interact on the people that have tagged themselves in there and in their gyms. You can use the location thing when you put your own posts up, and that will just start to have a small effect. Honestly, the biggest effect is when you can land one client in a different area, and then you can have, or you would ask them to tag you in things consistently. You could tag them in things that they reposted to their Instagram stories, for example. And that works really, really well. So I've got a really big client base in Ireland, just because I did a really good job, with a coach in Ireland. And then he started talking to somebody else, who spoke to somebody else. They kept tagging me on Instagram, and it kind of snowballed. Just touching back on the ads thing, if anybody in here is in a position to run ads, then of course you can target those by location too. If we're doing organic, then I would suggest location services on Instagram. Do a really good job with the client in the location that you want to build in, and then have them shout from the rooftops about you.
Amazing. And actually, I saw another question as well in the chat that I wanted to just ask you as well, Adam. It was Gemmer who was asking, in your opinion, if someone has no gym floor experience, could they go straight to online training?
Yeah. So if you had asked me this question 2, 3, 4 years ago, I would have said, no, I really think that you should go on the gym floor, get some experience with clients and so on before moving online. Now, though, with the current situation, I personally, if I was getting into the industry, I would just frog leap the gym floor. This whole COVID situation has just shown how fragile it is. So you might want to do it out of some fulfillment, but for business, I think just get yourself online as soon as possible. Yeah.
Get your business online. I think that's the takeaway today.
Yeah.
I just saw that Marco is also asking if we will share recording of the webinar today afterwards. And Marco, yes, we will. It will be posted on our social media channels. So please go and follow VirtueZone, especially on YouTube, because we will post the full recording there. Gary, I want to ask you a question, also a little bit on the technical side of things around insurance. It's Ahmed who was asking us, do I need insurance to work as a personal trainer in Dubai? And if yes, can you recommend a solution for that?
Yeah, well, the answer is actually no. In the UAE, you don't legally require to have insurance. However, as a lawyer, I recommend that you always take insurance. Especially if you're working on the gym floor and you're working with people that could get hurt and they could attribute blame to you. We work with a very good insurance partner called Petra Insurance, and for the VirtueFit product that we launched, they actually have a special package which includes public liability insurance, personal indemnity insurance, and also medical insurance, which you'll need for the visa process. So I'd recommend that you reach out, or we can share the details with Petra for this particular catered package. And even if you don't have a company with VirtueZone, they can help you with your insurance needs, especially as you grow the business and the business gets bigger, there's more liability. It's always recommended that you take an insurance product where you can.
Thank you, Gary. Officially, we have around 2 minutes left, but Adam and Lloyd, if you have like 5-10 more minutes, if you're not occupied with anything else afterwards, I would like to extend the webinar today a little bit. I think we're getting lots of good questions, and there seems to be a lot of appetite, luckily, for the topic we're talking about today. So I would like to keep you on for a little bit longer. I'm also gonna end the poll now. We were asking, are you currently working as a fitness professional? 50% of people answered yes, full time. Nobody is doing it as a side hustle. 25% say no, but they would like to work as a fitness professional, and 25% says no. So thank you so much for those answers to everyone. So let's grab one of the questions posted here in the chatter as well. Gary, this question is from Siham, who is saying, I have a free zone trade license and a mobile PT company. However, when I submitted my business plan, I was very clear and open about my services, but I was still advised that a free zone license would be the proper license for me. What do you suggest Seham should do in this situation?
Yeah, so in the past, often people were advised to take free zone licenses because something suitable on the mainland wasn't possible. There has been a law for some time that if you're operating from a free zone, you should only be operating inside that free zone or abroad. Generally, it's overlooked, but within the past few years, there's been crackdowns, and there was due to be an element of a crackdown in the fitness industry. So I would recommend, if possible and when convenient, that you should move from the free zone company to a mainland company whenever possible. You can migrate it over time, And that ultimately would be my recommendation. Previously, it would cost so much to actually set up a company in the mainland. There wasn't a suitable solution. You had to pay a lot of cost up front. It was very, very off-putting for PTs, so I actually forced them into illegally licensing themselves, if they licensed themselves at all. But that's why we launched the product VirtuFit. It was supposed to be a monthly subscription. It was supposed to keep you completely legal, because there's a lot of costs in running a mainland company. You need to have an office. You need to have a local service agent. You need to pay the DD fees. You need to pay your visa fees. So generally year one is very, very high, and then it's lower in year 2 and 3. Then it's higher again when you renew your visas. Rather than you having to pay a huge amount at the start when you're just setting up your business, what we did is we essentially financed the product so that you could pay a fixed monthly affordable sum, and that kept you completely legal.
So if anyone is interested in hearing more about that solution, please get in touch with us afterwards, and Gary will be able to have a one-on-one with all of you. Lloyd, there's a question here from Atarwa, who is asking, what are the basic necessities for conducting online sessions? A few tips would be great. So I guess now that you have switched a lot of your business to online, what's the technology? What's the different tools that you use to stay in touch with your clients?
So all you need is obviously a reliable laptop and a decent internet connection. Basically. So I would mainly communicate with clients either through Zoom or WhatsApp, basically, and obviously through email. I use the Google platform for everything. So the nice thing about the Google platform is obviously everything is in one place. So you've got Google Sheets, Google Documents, you've got email, you've got the hard drive, and you even got Google Meet, which is its own version of Zoom, basically. So that's, basically all you would need in terms of running an online business. You don't need anything fancy. I think I was discussing this with Adam the other day, actually. You can literally work from your kitchen table and create an successful online business. That's the beauty about it. You can literally pack it up and go in 5 minutes and take your work with you. All you need is a reliable internet connection and obviously a reliable laptop. So yeah, there's not much tech involved at all. Obviously, when it comes to creating decent quality content like videos and whatnot, I guess for me an iPhone works. I've got an iPhone 11 Pro Max, so that's usually good enough. But if you want to take it to the next level, you can get yourself a decent camera with a tripod, and you can get a wireless mic basically set up. I'm not sure, Adam, is there anything else you could think of maybe to add on to that?
No, not really. Something to communicate with your clients on. So laptop, for example, a way to deliver it, whether it's Google Drive, whether it's you white label an app like True Coach, PT Distinction or whatever. And then, just a way to create content. So decent camera, iPhones definitely do the job. Audio is really important if you're doing video work. So like just a little directional mic or something like that. Other than that, that's the beauty of the online stuff is there's no overheads really. There's no big running costs. It's such a lean business, and it's go anywhere with it.
Sounds good. So low barriers to entry when it comes to technology, at least. So that's a good start. I just wanted to remind everyone again that I have put the links to both Adam and Lloyd's Instagram accounts in the chatter. I can see Gemma is following you already, so that's great. But otherwise, everyone else, go and follow Adam and Lloyd on the Instagram profiles. Highly recommended. Lloyd, I guess this is another question for you, also from Atarwa, who is asking, how do you keep learning new things? I guess new ways of training, and from where do you learn? How do you sort of upgrade your skills so you can teach your clients new and different workouts, new methods? How do you keep yourself sort of up to date and keep learning?
Well, I think the trick is to be open-minded and just know that there isn't one way of doing things, right? The most important thing is, like I said, obviously keep an open mind and bear in mind you are there to help the client. I think what tends to happen is PTs will push their ideas onto clients and insist on them taking a certain direction. Like, oh, you must do this in order to look like that. It needs to be as sustainable as possible. You know, if you've got a client who's just looking to improve their health, feel better about themselves, they don't need a very, very stringent diet, for example. You know, it needs to be enjoyable. It needs to be something that they're not going to wake up every day and go, oh, I'm going to eat chicken and rice again all day long. You know, it needs to be a sustainable kind of, lifestyle for them. And even the way they exercise. Some clients don't want to go in and just lift weights only. They want to do maybe perhaps metabolic, type training, which can be sled pushes, just different like CrossFit type workouts, if you want to call them that. So in order to, keep learning is, I think just reading obviously helps. Precision nutrition course is really, really good if you want to improve your nutritional knowledge. And you know what? Another really, and it's going to sound very cliche, but follow people that really know what they're talking about, and they really have they back up their the info that they give out on social media. So there's a lot of people out there these days. Literally, you could learn everything about nutrition through social media these days because of the amount of information that's been put out by PTs these days. I mean, I don't think it used to be like that. So you could literally learn everything you need to know, even as a client, just by following decent accounts and applying those basic principles. So I think the best thing is keep an open mind and realize that you could change your mind or have a different opinion on something 2-3 weeks later. You know, I mean, I write training programs now and I look back at them 6 weeks ago and I go, why did I do that? I could have done that better. So, don't be afraid to change your mind on something and just keep it open-minded. That's the way I think about it.
Thank you, Lloyd. And I guess we have just a couple of minutes left, but I would like to ask both you, Adam and Lloyd, sort of, if you had, 1 minute sort of to describe, where you would like to take your businesses within the next year or so. Are there new platforms you're going to explore? I know you're big on Instagram, both of you. You're very much online. Are there new platforms, new tools you're going to explore? How do you sort of see your businesses evolve over the next 12 months? Adam, perhaps if we start with you.
Mine really is just an impact goal. I just want to help. So I have a personal goal of each coach that signs up to the mentorship with me, that within the 12 months that I work with them, I want to get them to the UK VAT threshold, because obviously that's where most of my clients are, which is $7,000 a month or 85 grand a year, pounds. So I just want to keep doing more of that. So I think I had probably about 25 to 30 hit it last year. So I'd love to hit 2021. I'd love to take 50 people to that. I know it's not really a platform question, but that's my internal goal as to where I'd like the business to go, is growing. If I focus on that, it will just grow itself, is how I look at it.
And if you focus on that, but how do you think that you sort of would get there? What would help you get that extra mile?
Just on my end, keep doing a good job. That will do it. And then just keep turning up on Instagram. It's tried, it's tested, it works. I've just hired a copywriter to take over my email list. So I haven't really made the most of that. So email, and then just see what the paid ads can do in terms of getting more eyes. But really, it's just rinse and repeat. It's worked. It's growing very nicely. It's really tempting when you get into business, I think, to look at so many other things. Whereas, I don't know if anybody's read this book. It's typical the camera's just gone off as I grabbed a book to show you. Good timing for that one. I'll type it in the chat. There's a book called The One Thing by Gary Keller. It's like £8 on Amazon. And basically, when you find what works, just dominate that, in my opinion, which is really boring. But that's, in my opinion, it's the fastest way of growing.
Yeah, good advice for everyone out there as well. Lloyd, the next 12 months, how do you sort of see your business evolve? Or what are your plans?
It's a tough one for me because obviously with the unpredictability of how this pandemic is going to play out, it's very difficult because obviously when I like just today, I know they've just resumed shooting in India, basically with the movie that I was last working on. That's yet to be wrapped up. So it could be a case of me having to go out to India and do more contracts at some point. However, one thing I do know is I definitely want to scale the online business more and more in terms of it generating a really decent income so that I don't really need to rely on the work in India if I don't want to. It would be nice that becomes nice to do, if that makes sense. It'll just help keep the ball rolling in terms of what I do, basically. So yeah, for me, it would just be scaling the business, like Adam said, getting it to that VAT threshold. 8 grand is what's roughly about between 40 and 50,000 dirhams, I think, maybe a month. It's about
about 38 at today's rate. About 38.
Oh, does it come down? Has it?
Yeah, it's getting better for the Brits.
Oh, no. Oh yeah. Okay, well, even more then. So it would be nice to have a regular income of around 40,000 dirhams a month. You definitely can't complain with that. So yeah, that would be the goal. So there's flexibility in your life. Everybody likes to be secure. So having that income come in and not having to rely on the one-to-one situation is ideal, basically.
All right, exciting times ahead in these challenging and changing times. But I think with those words, thank you so much to everyone who participated today. I would say just before we close, Adam has a bit of a freebie to everyone who have signed up for the webinar and who is participating today. He is giving away a free sales script. So go and follow Adam on Instagram, send him a DM, say that you participated in the webinar today, and ask him for the free sales script. Is that correct, Adam? Did I get it right?
Yeah, correct. So basically, if you're still awake at this point and we haven't bored you too much, then just follow me on Instagram, DM me Virtue Zone, and I'll send you over a copy of the sales script that will massively help you close more clients into your online business.
Remind us of your handle.
At Adam Hayley 1. So just to drop it in the chat again, at Adam Hayley 1.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very
Again,
much.
Thanks so much, Adam Hayley, Lloyd Stevens, and Gary Thompson. Thanks for being on the panel today. I think we all learned a lot on this topic. I would also like to thank everyone who signed up for the webinar, who joined us today. A few of you asked if there's a recording being released afterwards. Yes, so please go and follow Virtue Zone. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we are on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, we're everywhere. But the full recording of the webinar will be uploaded to YouTube. So please go and subscribe, and you will be able to watch it within the next coming days. Please also go and follow Adam and Lloyd on Instagram. Both of their handles are posted in the chatter. Buy the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, recommended by Adam. And
it's a short read.
Amazon is your friend. I think we got around to answer most of the questions today. There might still be a few we didn't manage to, but otherwise, please get in touch with us. You can reach us through live chat on our website 24/7. Otherwise, drop us an email. Our website is vset.ae. Thanks so much again for participating, everyone. Thanks to our panelists, and we hope to see you on the next Virtue Zone Academy Q&A session. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.